As we get to November, there are a few things that happen all the time. First of one is HMRC asking for their taxes. Secondly is Mariah Carey starting to sing All I Want for Christmas Is Me, apparently. And thirdly, Black Friday deals. So today we're going to have a look at Black Friday deals that I find in the United Kingdom, some of them a little more global, but I need your help. Tell us in the comments below some of the stores you've seen good Black Friday deals, discounts, what they are, but don't do the whole site, just tell the name of the store, otherwise YouTube will block this. I'll have in the description affiliate links for some of these stores, including my Amazon store if you want to help the channel out. And also, speaking of helping the channel out, thank you to all the viewers, members, and subscribers for making all of this possible, all of these videos possible. Without you, believe me, it wouldn't be. So I would ask for your help if you press like and subscribe. I'm trying to get 100,000 subscribers, and it has been so long, and I still haven't accomplished that. Thank you. We're going to start with Fanatec. Unfortunately, they don't have their Black Friday deals ready until next week. However, they have announced what is going to be on sale. There's direct drives, there's going to be some steering wheels, and there's going to be some cockpit parts. Unfortunately, it's not a big selection, but there are a few things that you might have attention to. I would if I was going to buy something. One of these would be the CSL DD-QR2 8N. This tends to be already in a good price. Lowering it more because of the ecosystem wouldn't be hurting you if you're going to buy something like this. If you want something that is really more up the mark, it's the wheelbase that I use now. It's the Club Sport DD Plus because it does everything. When I finish my reviews, well, I tend to go to the Club Sport DD Plus because it's the wheelbase that serves me the best. I would try to avoid the DD Pro wheelbase unless it's really heavily discounted, or the 5 Nm. Might as well just go for the 8 Nm. The DD2 is a wheelbase that is definitely dated, but it really depends on how much it's going to be. And for the steering wheel deals, well, unfortunately, there's not much choice. The Podium BMW M4 GT3, it's an excellent wheel. Tends to be quite expensive, but at this price, might as well just buy something from something else. But the Club Sport steering wheel, the formulas, tend to be quite interesting because they have been discounting over the course of the years, and they actually have a lot of features, but they do need a refresh. Unless you want to go for something bigger, the CSL Elite steering wheel, it's actually pretty good. And for the cockpits, I'm not really seeing much interest in the cockpits that they have. The GT cockpit is a good cockpit, but for the price you have to pay, generally I would just go with aluminum profiles, though their seats are decent. They are generally decently priced, and if they have a good discount, if you want to get a seat, these tend to be good. As for Moza, they have up to 29% off, which is in reality 17% if we be real, in one very specific case, which is a good case. Most of the times it's below 10%. For their new stuff is, well, not off, the R25 and the R21. Apparently very good wheels, and you also have their products from the flight sims. Now, we want to actually start looking at the racing bundles. The racing bundles for the R3 are not heavily discounted. They're not very expensive items, all things considered, but the 7% discount or 6% discount could mean the difference between you buying this or a G29 and G923, because the price difference won't be that big. It's about 50 quid. Might as well just get this, and it will be the discounts, you know, if United States are in Europe, could be a little more or a little less. For the R3, you know, price is not heavily discounted, but the things we want to have, starting to have a look at, are from the R5, R9, and R12. This is actually a good price for this specific bundle. This is a good wheelbase. I had to go to my ultimate low-end premium buyer's guides to confirm that if these were actually discounted, because you know how it happens on Black Friday. Sometimes they hike up the price just to make them lower. This is not the case. This is actually the price, actually savings over here. This is a good deal. This could be also a good deal for you if you are into truck sims, but the better deals start with the R9 actually. If we go over here, they have 15% discounts, and there are some good combos. one really good combo if you want to have something that, you know, you buy it and you keep it for a long time, could be the R9 KS bundle. The R9 is a good wheelbase. The KS wheel is not one that I particularly like, but because of the price, it has excellent value. Another good choice could be this one over here with the round wheel, the RS V2 wheel. This tends to be a more expensive wheel. And for the discount, 13% discount isn't really too bad. I would avoid this one or even this one over here, because for the value you're going to get, in my opinion, it's really not that much. But it's also on the R12, where there are some good discounts, namely with, once again, the R12 V2, which is 639 pounds, because the R12 is one of those wheelbases that is extremely well priced, and it continues to be extremely well priced in this bundle. This bundle for me is excellent value. Or once again, if you want to go with the round wheels, you have the CSV2P. It's not the same wheel as we had on R9 or this one over here, but this could be really good if you want something that is actually really dependable. I would avoid the FSR2 in the bundle unless you really want the screen, because the FSR2 is not Simhound compatible. It's a good wheel, but is, in my opinion, a bit too expensive without that support. Going for the wheelbases, and this is where you can actually save a little bit if you're just buying, you know, pointing yourself to buy something really specific. The R9 is heavily discounted at $300. Well, this is really good. It's pointing itself towards the Logitech RS50, which is still cheaper. Unfortunately, Logitech doesn't have any deals, but the 10% off on the R12 V2 makes it right now one of the best deals in sim racing. The R12 V2 is really correctly priced, in my opinion, very aggressively priced, and it does pretty much everything with no problem whatsoever. For their steering wheels, not much in terms of saving. I think these two, maybe these three, would be the best deals at the moment. For those of you on trucking sims, this is basically the only trucking sim wheel out there, 229. It's not a big drop, but you know, it can make it a bit of a difference if we buy one thing here, one thing there. And even though, once again, I don't like the KS wheel, this is really aggressively priced. And for the rest, for the pedals, you know, the CRP2s are pretty good, unless you are really on the ecosystem, want to keep on the ecosystem. I think there's better value elsewhere, and we're going to look at that. Simagic has their holiday mega sales, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Christmas, everything together. It will be running for the next month. They say up to $359 saving, but that really depends on what you're going to buy, because some of these deals, in my opinion, are not really that good. They do have some good stuff over here. Unfortunately, if you're just picking and choosing one unit, you're probably not going to save much, if anything at all. That includes, for example, the Evo lines. Zero savings on their Evo lines. If you want to get just a wheelbase from Simagic, well, it's really not that much unless you go for the Alpha Ultimate. The steering wheels are not heavily discounted. You have, for example, the GT Neo, $20 off. It's not bad, but it could be better. If you want to get a bigger sale over here, it could be something like the GT4. And also this one over here, it's just $20 off. But this is actually a good deal because it includes the hub and it includes a steering wheel over here. And the hub is not really that bad because you can do a lot of stuff with that hub, believe it or not. For the pedals, in my opinion, I think this is very miss this year. Not big discounts. They have heavier discounts on their P2000s. For the P1000s, well, in my opinion, you can get better deals elsewhere, unless, of course, you want to be in the Simagic ecosystem. And with the peripherals, there is a bigger discount, for example, on the Q1, but it's really not that much. If you want to save more with Simagic, you need to grab a bundle, either with or without a pedal set. And over here, you're going to save at least $100. There's this deal over here that might be really good for those of you who want something that just, you know, fire and forget. 9 meters is actually pretty good with the GT Neo. And then as you go up 12, 18 meters, you save a little more, a little less, depending what you're going to get. This is also a good deal, in my opinion, over here with the 350 or even the GTS leather, if you want something that is, you know, good for drifting, for example. And as you go up, the prices don't seem to increase in terms of savings, and they kind of taper off. With the alphas, this is where most of the savings is because it's an older generation. if you want to save a little more, might just get the alpha set or one of the alpha sets, because there will be more savings there, and the wheelbases are still, you know, pretty good. If you want full bundles, you're gonna save about $3 to $40 more, and it's, you know, it's really not that much, but all things considered, you know, up to $200 off with this set or this set over here, it may not be too bad at all. And that includes also with the Evo 18 Newton meters. But with this, sadly, the P1000s are not available here with these bundles. You have to go for the P2000s. Not a lot of people actually really want to go to the P2000s unless you want the inverted. You're going to save more if you go for the old alpha sets. For example, this over here is will have $230 off, which is really good. You get the P1000, the GT Neo, and also the 15 Newton meter alpha. And as you go up, the savings are, you know, they kind of taper off. And the biggest deal you're gonna have is the Alpha Ultimate with the FX Pro and the P2000 wheel, and also the stopper. For the accessories, they don't have a lot of accessories saves, even though they say save big on top accessories. The QRA, unfortunately, it's still the same price, and you have like $11 off in some of their haptics motors and stuff. But other than that, it's really not that much. There may be a topical saving here for you, or a good deal if you were looking for like a really big bundle and you were going to buy everything. In this case, of course, it is a good saving. But for everything else, it's savings altogether with $100. Not that much, but it could make a difference to steer you this way. As for Simsonn, they don't really advertise that they're going to have a Black Friday. In reality, they offer one code, which is Black45 for their own discount. And it's $45 off out of what you're going to pay, which might be really good. Or if you're going to buy more than one thing, it might not be, you know, a lot of money, but it could make a difference. For example, the pedals that I reviewed, which will be the Simsonn Pro X, I believe, because they have it's the Plus X. They have very good similar names. You know, it's for 3 pedals, it's 200 quids. You drop $45 out of this. It's, you know, 35 pounds or something like that. You're gonna have probably the best deal in sim racing. That's why I was saying, well, CRP2s are this price, but these ones are so much cheaper, and actually, in my opinion, a little bit better. But they have quality control issues, like I mentioned in my review. The surfaces, and I don't particularly like their hydraulics, but it's a really customizable set, and I really liked this set. I was flabbergasted how good it is. Of course, they also have their other pedals, the Pro X, if you want to have a little more quality on this. And they have other peripherals, like they have their haptics. They have a shifter. I didn't know about that. I should have paid a little more attention. They have handbrakes, and they also have steering wheels as well. That's quite interesting. If you put a lot of stuff together, well, it's not a big cut. It's really only $45 in total. But if you are going to buy just a piece or two, the $45 might say, yeah, that's about 20% off, 15% off, which is not that bad. From all of this, I do recommend the pedals. The pedals are fantastic. GSI, and they'll have their Black Friday up to 20% off, but the 20% off are just for the gloves. If you go to the shop now, you'll have more options. 15% off on their most popular wheels. That includes the Hyper P1, the FPV2, and the GXL V2. The FPV2 is absolutely fantastic. It's the wheel that stays on my wheelbase. It does everything that I want from them. There is something you need to pay attention to, is that even though they say 15% off, the price over here is not discounted. You need to add it to your shopping trolley, and then the code will be applied automatically. These two, in my opinion, are really good deals. The interlock system they just launched, it's not really heavily discounted. It's only 5% off, but you know, it's normal. It's a new unit. For the bundles, up to 10% off, or actually 10% off in their bundles with SemiCube. That means you can have a really good deal with a wheelbase and also a top of the line wheel, both of them are top of the line. and you save up to $250 or 250 pounds. In most cases, around 200, especially with these two, and more or less if you go with the X29 with the Simicube 2 Pro. But that's it's normal because this is not a very expensive wheel, all things considered, for GSI. For the gloves, all of them are 20% off. That includes the longs and the shorties. And then they have 15% off on their mounting options. Their mounting options are extremely well built. They are really, really solid. And for the wheel rims, it's 5% off because it's part of their system. We're going to start with stores now because stores are interesting. They carry more than just wheels and wheelbases and pedals. They also carry rigs and seats and all of that. And we're going to start here with GTOMEGA or GTOMEGA, whatever you want. They have two sales, one for Moza, one for their own stuff. With Moza, it's exactly the same price we've seen in the Moza store, but with more limited stock. So it's really not interesting, this part. What is interesting is that you can put everything together. It will be sent once because of that, you won't be paying for delivery more than once. So I'm going to have a look at it here. They say up to 56% off. In reality, it's more about 20% on the items that we do not want. They have a bundle. You can create a bundle with the rigs, with whatever, and then at the end, we'll calculate with all of the discounts. And from here, there's quite a few interesting units. One of them is this one, the Prime Light Cockpit rig, because this rig, in my opinion, is really, really good for the price, $339. It's a rig that will do exactly everything that you need it. Their bucket seats are okay. I'm not a big fan of bucket seats. Another unit I can actually recommend you, it's actually the DDX. It's 40 pounds off. And it's only 10 pounds more expensive than the Apex wheel stand. And this one takes direct drive and takes actually load cell pedals with, higher rating with no problem whatsoever. This is a really good deal as well. It is the Prime Cockpit deal. So that means if you put everything together, buy it from one place, you have really good options. Another option over here that for those of you who want to do, for example, Formula, or want to buy something that is a Formula, and then you can do also GT racing, they are also having a good discount on the hybrid cockpit. I would avoid the Prime Light R, even though it's discounted about 10%. This hybrid cockpit will do both, and it's not really badly priced. But for me, the best two choices over here will definitely be the Prime Light and also the DDX. And, third spot, the Prime Cockpit. Very, very good choices. Pair them together with the Moza stuff, and you're actually saving quite a bit if you are going into sim racing and you want to, do everything together. As for RaceAnyehwre, it's exactly the same story as GTOMEGA, minus this time it's with Simagic and not with Moza. The most important things for me will be their bundles and their sim rigs, and not so much as the wheel bases and pedals, because over here the discounts are really not that much. For their bundles, it's Simagic bundles up to 16% off. In most cases it's 15. You have a few of them that are 11 over here at the bottom. So this means for United Kingdom, because it's a store from the United Kingdom, if you want to have a Simagic bundle from the get-go, that works as everything. For example, you have this one for 618 pounds, over 100 pounds off, which is not bad at all. And with their sim rigs, they have very, very good sim rigs. I highly rate them, and their discounts are also pretty good. They might not be as cheap, or they'll be more expensive than the GTOMEGA, but in terms of quality of details, these tend to be a little bit better. They have two really good choices. For example, the PSR 1, 25% discount. It's almost the same price as the Prime rig that GTOMEGA sells, and also the Pro Sim rig PSR 3. It's more expensive, about 60 pounds. However, it has a better pedal deck, in my opinion. It's a solid pedal deck instead of that plate one. In this case, you'll have less flex. So RaceAnyehwre, in this specific case, in my opinion, will have very, very good rigs. And if you want to have something with a rig and then a bundle, this could be a very good choice for you. We're going to finish with Simhound. Simhound is best known by doing gloves in water, shoes for sim racing. How did that happen? I do not know. But they also sell some other stuff, Simagic, Moza, and Fanatec, and Pimax. But for Black Friday, they have Moza and Simagic for deals and also their own stuff. Let's have a look at Moza first, because their bundle is the cheapest out here. So that means if you want to just buy a Moza R5 bundle, well, the bundle will be cheaper than even that is Moza is doing on their Black Friday deals. With Simagic, they also have some deep discounts in some selected things, namely their alpha wheelbases. They are heavily discounted, more discounted than Simagic, I believe. And also they have quite decent bundles in terms of prices, and they do also have some other choices for wheels and pedals as well. But let's have a look to their own stuff. They have their gloves and their shoes. The shoes are 20 pounds. I've been using these shoes for like 4 years now. They're still there. They're really comfortable. And they have their gloves. For their gloves, I would recommend the outside stitching ones. They tend to be a little bit better constructed in my opinion, and these will last the test of time, except for these little small dimples over here. These will go in about 3 or 4 months, but the rest of the carcass will last a long time. And this is it. These are some of the options out there. There are plenty more. Once again, doesn't matter where you are, just do them below. Press in the comments, say in the comments the store that you've seen good deals. Doesn't matter where it is, just say the store and the place. Don't do the whole site, otherwise, once again, YouTube is going to block. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this was useful. I'll see you next time.